and welcome to my channel. I have an unboxing of Papercraft Society box number 26. This one is curated or designed by Textures, the brand Textures, by Lou, who does a lot of the videos on Craft Stash. And I did already open this up and just kind of reconfigure things a little bit to make it a little bit easier to show and also store it how I would normally store it. So we get in, let's see, this box, these look to be, oh wow, okay, so these are cut through. I wonder if it's cut with like a glow forge. I see like the burn marks. I'm presuming that this will pop right through, but I can see that there are some areas that have not been kind of cut through all the way. And I'm actually gonna, so there's two that are cut as snowflakes, and then there are two just round discs. And I'm gonna pop this back in because I am really sensitive to the smell of smoke, and so I'm kind of already picking that up. Okay, but let me measure this circle coaster. It's almost 4 3/4, so that's a really large size. And there is some texture paste, so that would be cool. I'm guessing it's so that we can do some mixed media with these really pretty thick size coasters, so that's really cool. Maybe make some coasters. The snowflake could maybe be an ornament, I'm guessing. This little pot I did have to look up. It's glitter, white glitter. So very cool. And then this kit is all about, well, not all about, but it is about quilling. So we have a little quilling tool here. I do have other quilling sets that I have, but this is sort of your very basic quilling tool, where at the end here, this piece of metal actually has a slot through there, which is hard to see, but I can illustrate it with just this piece of scrap here, because I can fit this piece of paper right through that slot. And this is how you would kind of roll your quilling strips with this tool. So really fantastic. And then getting into the folder, and I love this sweater pattern. It just looks really cozy and warm. And I love this too, this sort of iced foliage look. And so speaking of quilling, we do get a packet of quilling strips, which is nice because we have all the various colors too. Some of mine got a little bit crumpled in here, but that's okay. Once you curl it up into your project, you may be able to just cut off that bit or smooth it out. So I think it'll be fine in the end. And plus I have a lot in my stash, since I do have other quilling supplies too. This is the thinner width of, usually you get like either 3mm, I think, or 5 is the usual. So this one is 3, so it is the thinner, which is kind of nice if you do want to add these to a card, because then you're not adding too much thickness. So there's that. This quilling template is pretty standard with quilling kits, and usually if you have like a quilling pattern that you're going by, generally what the pattern will dictate is how long a piece of quilling strip to cut off. And so you've got a ruler along this edge so that you can measure your quilling strips against that, cut it to length, and then you'll curl your strip into a circle, and then it will tell you which size circle to drop that into. And once you drop that into this template, then you're gonna have a very consistent size of sort of a quilled disc almost. And once you pop it out of this template, then you would glue it sort of at that size. And that way you can create very uniform quilled elements to build up your project. And the nice thing about this is you could take the same length of quilling strip, and as you would probably already expect, if you drop that into a smaller circle, it's going to be tighter, a tighter formation than if you were to drop it into a larger one, because there's more space for that paper to kind of fill out and expand. So you'll have like a looser quilled kind of disc. So so something to experiment with too, as you kind of learn more the basic different shapes, and just play around a little bit to see what you like. If you like a quilt disc that is almost solid versus one that's a lot looser, because you get different looks from it. So really cool that. And then the booklet, I'll just quickly just leaf through, but it has tons of inspiration for how to use everything in this kit and different projects that you can create with it. And there's usually, I haven't checked for this box specifically, but there's usually a link that has an address in this booklet, so that you can actually go online and download any additional downloadables or digitals that come with this kit. And it's well worth doing, because in the past I found that the printed pattern papers are available as digital downloads. So if you're working on a larger project, or there's a particular print that you absolutely love, you can, in some of the past boxes, I don't know about this one specifically, but in some of the past boxes, we've been able to download the digital version, and then you can just print off more. And even if you don't have like a color printer or a printer at home, you can always take it to like a FedEx or something like that, where they can print it for you. I'm guessing like an Office Depot would be able to do that sort of stuff as well. So speaking of your pattern papers, so these are probably around 60 pounds, and that's a very striking kind of trees. It's almost like two photos that have been merged together. Like we have the trees, and then we have this brick, which is really nice. Oh, this is the one that's part of the folder that I said was really nice, that frosty foliage kind of look. So you get two sheets of that. We have some stone brick here with some snow collecting on there. Oh, beautiful. There's that sweater. This looks like a photograph. Just really nice. Yeah, a lot of these look like photographs, actually. Then we have our solid color cardstock that coordinates. So 4 different colors, 2 sheets each. They are white core, a little bit thicker than the papers themselves. I would say maybe around 80 pounds. And everything is A5 in size. So there are our papers. And then going into our stamp and die set in this box. Oh, there's even a stencil. Okay, cool. So let me pull out this. So the stencil, this is pretty thick. So the stencil has 4 patterns, it looks like. So we've got this sort of snowy pattern, and I guess that's why they've given us texture paste too, so that you can kind of use a palette knife to spread some texture paste over this, maybe sprinkle it with some glitter before it dries, and then you can get a nice sparkly snowflake with some dimension to it, because the texture paste will kind of hold its dimension. And then you have this really nice swirly pattern here, and then this very dense kind of snowy, well, I think of snow when I see this, so that's pretty cool. Okay, neat. A stencil. And then we get... Okay, so let's see. We have some sentiments here. So we've got winter. That's a really nice scale font. And then we've got walking in a winter wonderland, warmest, birthday wishes, make a wish, winter greetings. And it looks like I've seen, but I don't own any. I've seen stamp and die sets, sentiment stamp and die sets where you can kind of, the idea is you can stamp out all of the sentiments, because this is one stamp here that has all 4 sentiments, and then there will be a single die that coordinates to die cut all of those sentiments out at the same time. So that is a little bit of a time saver for you, and it does look like there are some registration marks. So the stamp will stamp out this little hexagon, and you get 4 hexagons that will coordinate with 4 hexagon shapes in your die. And so you would just line them up like that, and then you can, in one pass through your die cutting machine, die cut out all 4 sentiments. So that's kind of nice, especially if you do any sort of batch making or you make to sell, because I'm sure, I don't do it, but I'm sure, if you're making to sell, anything that saves you time is going to be well worth it. And it does look like we have some options for different ends. So you can, instead of this sort of kind of a faceted end to your sentiments, you can do like a fishtail banner end. So you would, I guess, die cut this out first, and then once you have your strips, if you want to change the shape of the ends, you could do that, because there's quite a lot of room leading and trailing on some of these. Not so much this Make-A-Wish one, but this one has a lot of room, so you could definitely use this die and, cut off a little bit of that extra space. So yeah, so that's kind of cool that there's some versatility built into there. And while we're looking at the dies, it does look like we get some letters, and so this spells out winter with an S, S, B, and H, so you could spell out best wishes, so you could do best wishes, you could do winter wishes. You could probably, spell out quite a lot just within these dies here, even though it's not the full alphabet. But I think there's probably a lot of different ways to kind of mix and match and come up with different words that aren't even related to winter time at all. And then in terms of the stamp, we get some really beautiful sort of quilling inspired shapes and patterns, because these are some basic quilled patterns built as a snowflake. So you could actually look to this as an example for how to actually create, because you could recreate this with your quilling strips, and we get that snowflake in 2 different sizes. They look to be the same pattern, but in 2 different sizes. And similarly with this one, this is a different way of doing your quilling designs. And so you could recreate something like this with your quilling strips as well. Same with this nice border. So you can stamp it out or take it as, I bet you could probably like stamp it in maybe like a light gray or something that you would maybe use for no line coloring, and then lay your quilling strips on top of that as a pattern, to use this as a pattern for adding some quilled flourishes to your project. And then this has like a kind of ditty little snowflake cluster that you can just stamp multiple times and create your a really nice background. So very, very cool stamp and die set. I didn't first, pick this up when it first became available for individual purchase, but then during Black Friday, the price dropped on all of the kits, and you were able to buy kits for something like, I think it was half off, or nearly so, which is an amazing, amazing deal. You get, I mean, the kits themselves are already fantastic value for money, but at that price, it's kind of like almost a no-brainer for me. I just feel like you get so much value as is, and when it drops down in price like that, I can't resist. So I hope to craft with this soon, and when I do, I will be sure to link to that video at the end of this one. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.